welcome to Cinema Bing Bong, your monthly film magazine show. Oh, holy heck. It's a new... Oh, Rebecca, have you seen this? There's a newsflash.
No, I haven't. I didn't see it.
Yeah, there's a newsflash. Modern magic unlocks Merlin's medieval secrets. Fragments of a rare manuscript from circa 1300 have been discovered and digitised in a groundbreaking 3-year project at Cambridge University Library. Have you heard about this?
Is this SpawnCon?
Sorry?
Is this SpawnCon?
No, I just thought people might not hear about this otherwise.
Okay, we'll keep going then.
And I want the listeners to know about it. So they've only had 40 of these manuscripts. We've only got 40 of them, but now we've got 40 and an extra couple of pages because they found it sewn within the bindings of an Elizabethan deeds register.
And it's what?
It's a French book about Merlin.
Okay.
It says in it, the magician becomes a blind harpist who later vanishes into thin air. He will then reappear as a balding child who issues edicts to King Arthur wearing no underwear. It sounds good.
Good.
It sounds good. I don't know. I know you do the boop-de-boop at the start of a news flash. I don't know what you do at the end. But I'm Amelia, and I'm joined as always by Rebecca.
I thought you were going to sign out. That's what happens at the end of the news flash.
Oh, okay.
You're like more at 10.
Those were our stories today, and that's people tonight. Thank you. More at 10. Okay, welcome back to Cinema Bing Bong. I'm Amelia. I'm joined, as always, by...
I'm so confused.
What?
I wasn't expecting there to be a news flash about a Merlin script. It's not in the program notes.
Well, it was a news flash. It happened suddenly.
Okay.
I should have said we interrupt your regular programming. And I'm joined by Rebecca, and this is a podcast about movies. And actually, Rebecca, you've got some movies news flash, don't you?
Oh, yeah. So the latest gossip of the day is that Disney is trying to put a hit out on Rachel Zegler.
Okay, shit. Well,
they're blaming her for the flop movie Snow White.
They're trying to kill Snow White?
They're trying to kill Snow White's career.
Okay. Also bad.
Okay. So, Variety has put out a hit piece on Rachel Zegler.
Yes.
And it's the same author of the person who wrote the hit pieces on Amber Heard and Michelle Barrera.
Imagine being like the kind of like Hollywood gossip rag like assassin. I think that would be kind of a cool career.
I can't remember her name. It was Tatiana someone. Oh my god. Sorry.
Your cat's really, Maggie's really purring up a storm.
Yeah, well, she's trying to stand on the keyboard, so
okay.
I'm holding
right.
her. She's so happy to be here. Special guest. And it's been revealed that Marc Platt,
yes,
the billionaire guy, producer, flew out from LA to personally reprimand Rachel Zegler for saying Free Palestine.
Uh-oh. But that's Ben Platt's dad?
Yeah, that's Ben Platt's dad. So I'll read the thingy, the screenshot of what his other son said.
Oh my god.
Oh, we see a lot of stuff to each other today. Okay, so Instagram user. Your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No, shame on your father. Jonah Platt. You really want to do this? Yeah. My dad, the producer of enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires, at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged.
I think Jonah Platt should have done more projects maybe before he started doing this stuff. Because now if you search his name, the third result is Reddit, Jonah Platt, Nepo Baby, and the untalented son of Marc.
Okay, yeah. So, and then this hasn't, like, the hit piece hasn't gone down very well because everyone thought that it made her sound cool.
Sick.
And everyone knows that, like, Disney, that Snow White is flopping because the movie doesn't seem very good, and also it's got Gal Gadot in it.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, so I heard part of it because the sound on it was, like, turned way up compared to the last Showgirl. And it sounded bad, like, it wasn't good. But people said that Rachel Zegler was good in it.
It just barely looks like a movie. Like it.
Yeah, and then people were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Jonah Platt saying your dad had to leave his family. You mean you and your brother Ben Platt were both like 37 years old?
He had to leave his beautiful adult sons.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's going on.
Oh. All right. What? What else have we? What else have we got?
The
list?
Oscars happened the last time since we did the podcast.
Yeah, they happened like a day after. I don't have really anything to say about the Oscars.
I don't have anything to say. I was just in love with all the I'm Still Here hungover content.
Yes, we love Brazil. We will still come to Brazil.
Please listen to our previous episode of this podcast about Brazilian film if you haven't, which I know a lot of you haven't.
Well, they had, it's time to scrub your prejudices about Brazilian film. And I'm telling you, that's why you haven't listened, even if you don't think that's why you haven't listened.
Yeah, it's the same, like, our biggest flop episode. That one, the musical one, and the one where we talked about Joker.
Yeah, look, I understand the other two, but I think people need to
stop their prejudices.
They need to stop their prejudices. My biggest shock at the Oscars.
Not at the prejudiced listeners of Cinema Ping Pong.
Look, I love the listeners no matter who they hate.
Okay.
My biggest shock at the Oscars was that Mikey Madison doesn't talk like in the movie.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know. I knew because I'd seen some of her interviews.
I thought they cast her because she talked like that.
No. They cast her for no... I mean, I'm not going to say no reason, but...
She was pretty good in it, I think. But yeah, she was like, I'd like to say thank you to Sean. It's been a brilliant project. And I was like, what the fuck is this? What is going on?
And she's the other interesting thing is that she has a twin.
What?
She's a twin who's like a red-headed guy.
Oh, okay.
And he was her date at the Oscars.
Okay, all right. That's weird.
It's unnecessary. We don't have twins.
No, not me. Always wanted one when I was a child. Used to pray to God about it at night.
How would that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems quite mental now.
Yeah, but I think that's the sort of thing that children do.
Well, I did it, so it must be normal.
Yeah.
Okay. What else have we... next up, you've got Zionism.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was That was
covered? Okay.
That was covered.
Because I feel like
next thing,
maybe we should also say, because another Oscars thing is that
Free Palestine.
Yeah, Free Palestine. Because No Other Land, which I've not had an opportunity to see yet, got Best Documentary Feature, and then one of the directors, the co-director, has been lynched in the West Bank. So
and he got returned.
Yes, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's very fucked up.
So yeah, Free Palestine.
Hope
he's all good.
Yes. Molly Gordon and Ben Platt have unfollowed each other.
What?
And she didn't go to his wedding.
But they're like the cool team behind.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
The movie that I enjoyed, Theatre Camp.
I know you enjoyed that movie, Theatre Camp.
No one saw it. It's good.
Some people saw it. But yeah, well, something's happened. Trouble in Paradise.
Okay.
We don't know why. Could be to do with his dad
putting out a hit.
Putting out a hit on 20-year-old Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, maybe the thing with Jonah Platt happened in private between them. She was like, "That's so fucked up," and he was like, "You don't understand what it's like."
He was like, "My dad had to leave
family.
His children to go to New York," which he definitely had never done before.
Yeah, that's not the kind of thing
big
Hollywood
Broadway
executives
guy
do. Yeah.
Formerly Broadway, currently Hollywood executives never fly from LA to New York.
Oh, and thankfully they never harass young actresses. So
no.
All right, that
was the gossip.
That's
and updates.
Sad to me, but I kind of hope that Molly Gordon flies free now, free from Ben Platt.
Okay. My other updates were about the career of Josh O'Connor.
Okay, because it just says Ronnie here.
No, that's something else.
Oh God.
Because I didn't write all the details in the show notes, because then you would read them and I would be like, well, here's the news, and you'd be like,
okay.
You'd have to pretend.
Well, don't read the thing that's highlighted in yellow at the bottom.
Oh, I already did. Okay, so
shit.
Josh O'Connor, he's in a new movie that premiered at the San Francisco Film Festival, I think, called Rebuilding, where he is a rancher.
Oh.
The history of sound, the historical romance with Paul Mescal has been bought for distribution by Mubi.
Fantastic.
So that will be coming out. Then he's going to be in the new Knives Out movie with many other British people. And then I thought more interestingly, he's going to be in this film that's just gone into production called The Mastermind. With John Magaro, who is the white guy from Past Lives, and Alana Haim, and Gabby Hoffman.
Okay.
And that's going to be a crime film.
Well, that sounds good. I have two responses to your list of things.
Okay.
One is that what the hell happens in Rebuilding? After wildfires take his ranch, a cowboy named Dusty winds up in a FEMA camp, and because my brain is so internet poisoned, I thought FEMA camp. I thought they meant like a government death camp and not an actual FEMA camp. You know what I mean?
Wait. No, I don't know what you mean.
Right-wing people in America think that FEMA is setting up...
What are you saying?
FEMA.
FEMUR.
It's the Federal Emergency Management Agency. FEMA.
I thought I was for bones?
No, the FEMA camp. And so, psycho far-right American people think that the, emergency agency is, setting up camps to, exterminate patriots.
Okay.
And so I read it as that, but it's obviously, it's for the wildfires. There's, they set up a camp for survivors of the fires. But I love that he's called Dusty, because in these photos, he looks very dusty. He looks like a dusty little guy. Second comment, are you a Knives Out fan?
I've only seen the original Knives Out.
Okay.
And I liked it at the time. but I didn't follow the series.
Yeah, I have kind of mixed feelings about it because I loved the first one. I think it's like incredible. And then the second one I really liked at the cinema, but I think it's kind of like a
because that was the thing, is that there was only like one showing of The Glass Onion in cinemas, and I don't think I was in New Zealand.
It showed for a week, and it's like a fun popcorn at the movies movie. And everyone I know who saw it like that was like, "Whoa, cool movie!" And everyone who watched it at home was like, "Oh, that was kind of goofy." And it's like,
because I'm really kind of goofy off by Netflix distribution.
Oh, it's so annoying. But yeah, so I'm kind of like, part of me is like, well, the next Knives Out movie could be really sick. And then part of me is like, I hope Rian Johnson gets freed from Knives Out so we can make a different movie. But oh well. We live, laugh, love, solve crime.
We live in the history of sound.
That's so beautiful and so true. Okay.
Yes, but this Mastermind movie is directed by Kelly Reichardt, and the only movie of hers I've seen is Certain Women, which I didn't like.
Okay.
Because it was so boring. So we'll see. I like to tell the listeners about things that I think are gonna like come up.
Yes. Oh, it'll definitely look, if it's got my boyfriend in it, we're gonna go see it.
Who you called Big Balls in there?
No, you said, what's that guy called? And I thought maybe you were talking about Big Balls. Prominent American fascist Big Balls.
No, I wasn't. This would be very unlike me.
Okay. Should we get into what we've seen at the movies?
Yep, I lost the notes, but here they are.
Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the new Mike Leigh film, Hard Truths.
Look at you. Fix your face. You're dealing with the public, handling people's food.
Stop! Please.
Oh, you can pipe down and all standing there like an ostrich. People. Can't stand them. Cheerful, grinning people.
And then there's going to be a sound.
Then there'll be a sound. Hell yeah.
I always forget that you do that.
Do you want me to do the little plot summary?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Hard Truths, it's contemporary London. It's about two sisters. They're like the whole it's such a good movie. The whole movie is about these like black British characters, like most like from the like Caribbean diaspora, which is cool because I don't get to see movies about. I'm just excited about the movie. Sorry. And then so it's about these two sisters. One of them is like miserable and kind of like losing her mind, yelling about everyone and everything, unhappy about everyone and everything, and it's kind of ruining not only her life, but also the lives of her kind of young adult, not young adult, that makes it sound like he's 16, her like early 20s son and her husband. And then kind of on the flip side, there's her sister who runs a hair salon and seems to be like getting along pretty fine, has like a cool relationship with her two daughters, and it's just kind of follows a little brief period in their lives surrounding Mother's Day and their kind of relationships with each other and the relationships that they have had and continue to have with their like dead mother. Yeah, that's about right, hey Rebecca?
Yeah, I just hang on, I have to lift the cat down. I think the only thing that you're like underselling is like how much this woman is yelling at everyone.
Well, I thought we'd get into that.
Well, we'll get into it.
So it stars your favorite.
One of my faves.
Marion John Baptiste. So do you want to tell us about the character? Because I feel like she is really the core of the film, and from what I've read about like people's reactions, like how on board you are with watching this character is like how much you will enjoy the movie.
Yeah, and like, look, some people, and I know that the listeners like to hear about this, and I haven't talked about it for a while, is that I saw this at one of the old people cinemas, where everybody was white except for me and someone's friend who appeared to be on some kind of international exchange.
Okay.
Or a colleague who was new to this country, something like that. I'm just sorry. Her name is Pansy.
Yes.
So the characters are Pansy, her husband Curtly, and her son Moses, who doesn't really talk. And then her sister is Chantal, and their mother is Pearl, mother of Pearl. Is that every day she wakes up screaming.
Yeah, that is the start of the film, is like some nice suburban, like establishing shots into the bedroom. Ah!
And then everybody at the Lido was like, oh my gosh, Jesus. That wasn't necessary.
Oh, this horrible woman.
Oh gosh, where's my wine? And then carried on much the same throughout the movie. And so then, like, I think the first thing that happens is that her son Moses is like, I'm going for a walk. And she's like, what are you doing that for?
Where do you go on
Do
your
you
walks?
want to be arrested?
Oh, they'll do you for loitering, you know? Or like you going out, just walking around.
Black man on his own on the streets. Like. And then she's just like that, and then she just sort of starts obsessively like cleaning, and their house has like nothing in it.
No.
It's a soulless property.
Yeah,
It's
she's
really
like
nice,
scrubbing the leather sofa.
It's a really nice, like, whatever they're called, like 2 up, 2 down.
I was going to say it's a 2 up, 2 down.
She's scrubbing a leather sofa. They've got one of those like kitchen islands with the like that big silver spray tap thing that like comes off.
Yeah.
And they got one very like tiny square backyard with a shed in it. And when Curtly comes home, he just like goes straight in the shed.
Oh, we love Curtly.
She doesn't know.
No, she doesn't.
I'm trying to think, and then so what else? So we like sort of see her go through various motions.
Yeah, I think the movie strikes a really like delicate balance between like it's definitely funny how upset she is at everything.
But it's not entirely funny because you're like, oh, what's happened to this woman? This is like not fine.
Yeah,
really.
because it goes back and forth between you feeling really bad for her, you feeling bad for the people around her, like the situation's being comical. Like there's a point where she gets into a fight with a clerk at a furniture store. And then and then she's like, well, I'd like to speak to your manager. And the person's like, would you? All right, fine. I'll go get them. And she like runs away.
Yeah, because like that's my favorite scene is the furniture store where there's like this really beautiful shot of it's just of 2 different characters. Like a young couple are like sitting on this big like corner sofa thing. And, like, sort of, like, touching each other a bit and being like, oh, like, wouldn't it be nice if we bought this big couch? And then you see, like, her out of focus in the background and you're like, oh, no, like, here she comes.
Yeah, it's like Jaws.
It's like, it's Jaws. What are you playing?
And then, like, and I think one of the other kind of, like, scenes I would use to sell...
I don't want your DNA. So fun.
One of the other scenes I'd use to like sell this to someone if I was trying to convince them to watch it is when she's yelling about the person around the corner who walks up and down the street with their baby. Oh, with a bow on its head. Just to tell everyone in the world that it's a girl. I don't care that it's a girl. What could be in its pocket? A knife?
Yeah. I think that's in the trailer too. I think that's like one of the key lines to sell the movie is what's a baby got pockets for? What's it got in there? A knife. And when she like does this sort of like, she does this like monologue. Like she talks about like maybe 5 different topics like at dinner while Moses and Curtly just sort of sit there silently like eating their food.
Yes. And I think it's important to say at this point that this film is like an excruciating and upsetting watch. But it is just so brilliant that it's like, I have to sound excited talking about it because it rules. But it's also like, it's not all fun and games. It made me cry. And a lot of the reviews are like, I couldn't sit through this. It's very upsetting. Yeah.
I don't like things that are upsetting, but I could get through this fine.
Well, I think it's just, it's operating at a kind of a different level than a lot of things that are like trying really hard to like tug your heartstrings. Like it's not, Mike Leigh films are, they're very like spare in how they use like the big cinematic tools to like tug at your emotions. There's not like big swells of strings and like lingering, camera shot over the shoulder or whatever. It's like quite a full-on play. Everything is like just very cleanly and beautifully framed, and the actors just do their very good lines. And so it's like, it feels more like a kind of a window into a real thing than like a big melodrama where you get all teary because these people's lives are horrible.
Yeah. And her sister just like a fun, normal single mother.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, her sister lives in this like little flat with her two daughters who are kind of like young professionals trying to make their way. They have kind of like a cute relationship, and they're very concerned for their cousin and uncle, and they don't really get why they have to put up with their like crazy auntie who like won't eat anything and yells at everyone.
And their house, like, the set decoration is so good that their house is just completely different. Like, it's, like, absolutely, like, full of plants. They always have the, like, doors open to this little balcony. And they're always, like, going in and outside. There's not, like, a huge thing about, like, why are you going outside? And they have, like, these, like, coloured lamps and, like, all these, like, little things around the house. But it's, like, quite interesting with those the characters of the daughters, because it sort of is, like, an insert for the audience a little bit.
Yes.
Is that you see these people who have like sort of average perception of what's happening here just being like, oh, why is she coming? Why does she talk to him like that? Does anyone want any coleslaw?
Yeah. Go on, Uncle Curtly. Come on, eat some. What are you scared of? Oh, I mean, nothing. Like.
Yeah.
Hey, Raz.
And, yeah.
Don't sound sad.
I was gonna say
okay, say your thing and then I retract my hey Raz. Go.
How good the scene is where she like runs away when the manager gets called in the furniture store, and she's like hiding in her car, and then she just has this massive fight with this other Caribbean British guy who's about the same age as her, who is like looking for a car park.
That scene is very good.
And it's like, and there's like even like these really cool like parallel scenes where she goes to the dentist and then she goes to the doctor. And she like is like a terrible patient to both of them, and just like how those like two different people react to her. Yes.
It's it's very interesting in the way that it kind of like breaks down by like showing her in all of these different situations. You get a really good scope for like the specific way in which she's mental.
But also you get quite a wide scope of the way that like different Londoners would react to her.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I liked how specifically, like speaking of the car park scene, there's something really specifically British about how he when he's yelling at her, one of the things he says is like, this car park used to be my school. Like, this is where my school was, and they tore it down to put this car park here. So like, I deserve a park. I thought that was real funny. Hey Raz.
And he said he'd been driving around here for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just do something else. Just think of a different idea.
All right. Hey Raz. Do you know how Mike Leigh films are put together?
No.
Okay, because this is really interesting, because I almost said this to you after I saw the movie and we were talking about it, and then I was like, well,
I don't quite know what you mean by put together here.
Well, because they're created in a very weird, specific kind of a way.
Okay.
So, Mike Leigh, for people who don't know, is like an incredibly prolific UK director who's been going since the 70s, and he did a lot of work for like TV, because the BBC would make a lot of like TV film things. So he's got some funny ones, he's got some really depressing ones. I think his most famous ones are the really depressing ones.
Yeah, the only one I've seen is Vera Drake.
Yes, I've seen Vera Drake,
which was very scary to me. I think it was on TV when we were about 12.
Yes, that makes sense.
Oh, that was the dark. It's about abortion.
Yeah.
In the 40s or something.
Yeah. Abigail's Party is a good early one if you want to like a taste. And if you want a funny one, Nuts in May is about like these kind of horrible middle class people who try and go camping. And wait, I got to name one more Mike Leigh film. There's one called Meantime that is like from the 80s, and it's just about like, it's a really harrowing film about like working class kind of teen blokes.
Wait, what were you saying about the specific way that they're put together?
So the way that his films are put together, sorry,
I didn't miss it.
We're getting there. No, the way that his films are put together is that, first of all, he casts the film. So he decides on some like, I'm pretty sure this is right. Someone's going to correct me, but I'm pretty sure this is the right order. He casts.
No one's going to correct you.
They'll do it. People love Mike Leigh. So he decides he gets some actors who he thinks are cool together, and then he kind of vaguely figures out what the characters are, and then they do intensive improvisation for months.
Oh, this is quite, yeah, I would imagine that.
Yeah, and so they improvise all of this stuff, and he I think he records it and makes notes, and then the script is taken from the improvisations, and at that point it's very strict to the script, which I think is it makes the films play out in a very fascinating way.
Yeah, I think thinking of the there's a scene where one of the daughters does this presentation.
Yes.
She's sort of interning, I guess, at a cosmetics company, and her pitch is that they are going to be the first company to do coconut free.
Yes, because coconut apparently actually is bad for you, but we've been selling it as good for you. So no, yeah.
And the it's just her and this other young black guy and the white woman boss who's she's one of the mums from Sex Education.
Ah.
The one who's having a terrible life.
Yes.
The one who's married to the principal. And she is this is terrible. We can't sell coconut products and then coconut-free products because coconut is actually bad. And you should have just done a much better job. And then she says to the guy, so are we still on for that drink?
Oh my God.
But I think that's very perfectly scripted, that scene.
Yes. But I just think it's because I feel like it could, going into this, because it's so centered on these specific black British relationships, I feel like people seeing that it's written and directed by this 78-year-old white guy might be oh.
No, it's all fine.
I don't know if you should write that, but it's all improvised by the actors, and the characters are built out of, they're given like situations, then they like create the. It's so interesting, and it's
Yeah, like the scene, like we see quite a bit of the clients getting their hair done in the like braiding salon.
Yes.
And there's like one client who's like, she just like wants to tell the Chantal, who's her hairdresser, about how this like taxi driver was like a little bit too talkative, and then he actually came to her house when she's didn't take the taxi.
Yeah, because she got a taxi every Friday to get her groceries, and then one time she didn't, and he rang up and was like, "You're right." Like
He came to her house.
yeah, he showed up and he was like, "Why you all good?"
And then it's like revealed that the reason why she's getting her hair done is to go on a date with this guy.
It's very good.
But she plays it off like, oh, so weird. And I think that's like such a thing that women of that age do.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's just a really weird thing happened to me today. And it's like clear that they don't think it's weird at all.
That's just the easiest way to introduce it.
Yeah.
Love Mike Lee. Yeah, highly recommend this movie.
Yeah, it's not often that we can highly recommend a movie.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, when we're doing movies that are like just whatever the new release.
Yeah, whatever's come out. Yeah, someone did message me, Raz, and they were like, always exciting to listen to Cinema Bing Bong to find out which movies Rebecca hates.
Oh, what?
Because you see so many movies,
Yeah.
so it's like...
Because I think I'm very dedicated to just seeing what comes out.
Yes.
Unless it's something that unless it's a war movie or it's like a weepy.
Yes.
Like We Live in Time. I don't know.
Oh,
I've said this
not
like
a
1,000
weepy.
times this week. I don't hate myself.
What was I going to say? Sorry. I became... no, what I was going to say is I usually go and see more things, but I've been having a strange situation recently. So I'm glad you've seen some things.
Well, I think that you're having like one of society's most normal situations, but it's like weird to you.
Organising a wedding.
And buying a house.
And...
Something really weird happened to me. I was in my early 30s and then I got married and bought a house.
What?
And I couldn't dedicate myself to the cinema.
It's not the like... I don't think it's the mean, transsexual lesbian experience, I'll say that.
No, but I mean... This is what trans acceptance is.
Thank you. No, but I also like...
Something really weird happened to me.
Not to sound like I myself am Pansy Deacon, but I also like... I had to change my like arthritis medication, and so I couldn't... It's like, you don't want to go... you don't want to go to the movies when you're all blowing up like a big pink balloon.
Mm. If you were a character in Hard Truths, which one would you be?
I felt very empathetic towards Pansy by the end of the film.
Yeah, I mean, okay, not her, but I mean, if you were one of the side characters, one of the people who...
I think I'm Moses.
Oh, God.
I'm reading my little airplane book and with my big headphones on and trying not to bother anyone.
I think I would be the dentist.
Oh, yes. You'd make a good dentist, Rebecca. You've got
And
a good
she's just like
bedside manner.
hurling abuse at, and she's like, all right, Mrs. Deacon. We don't have to carry on with this.
Oh, I think we could probably talk about this movie all day. However, we've got to talk about... we never talked about The Room Next Door, Rebecca.
Yeah, because we had to do our specials.
Yeah.
And because they weren't putting out enough films.
Yeah, it's
So we couldn't do a like January roundup. Oh, we saw one movie because none of the other ones came out except like Moana 2 or whatever.
Yeah, like post Oscars, it's been like a real drought of films.
Yeah, because they don't want to put out the movies now because
No.
they only consider movies that came out in fucking November for the Oscars.
And like, yeah, I feel like I keep saying that and then going, oh, maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. And then I opened up Letterboxd today and it was like, popular recent activity includes Adolescence, the Netflix TV series.
Yeah, I saw that
As well as still Wicked, Moana 2 and Conclave, and like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Parasite have leapt in there just because there's like not enough new movies to fill up the popular this week.
Yeah. I'll look at mine now.
Oh.
Popular this week: Adolescence, Mickey 17, Snow White, Anora, Black Bag, Flo, Novocaine. Guess what Novocaine's called in German?
You told me, but I forgot. Mr. No Pain or
Mr.
something.
Pain. Mr. No Pain.
Yeah.
Mr. No Pain. Yeah, Wicked, Moana 2, Conclave, Heretic, Substance, Companion, Eternal Sunshine, A Real Pain. These are all from like at least last year and sometimes 5 years ago and sometimes 17 years ago.
Yes. So we're going to talk about a movie from several months ago. The Room Next Door. Ah.
And then we pause for the sound again.
The snow was falling, falling faintly through the universe, and faintly falling on all the living and the dead.
The Room Next Door by our mate Pedro Almodovar.
Yeah, he is our mate. And he didn't let us down.
No, I really enjoyed this.
This is hard to remember because it's like nearly 3 months ago now.
Okay, I'll give you the rundown because I watched it
Okay.
like a month after you did.
Yeah, you watched it way after I did.
So it is about two women played by Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore basically bumps into Tilda Swinton at the start of the movie, and they kind of knew each other a while ago and haven't seen each other in ages. And they're like, oh, we should hang out. And then Tilda Swinton's like, I have cancer and I'm going to die. And so they start kind of being friends.
And that's kind of what the dialogue in the movie is like.
Yes. And
Well,
so
I have cancer and I'm going to die.
oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'll have to come and visit you. And so Julianne Moore starts visiting Tilda Swinton in hospital, and like when she's not in hospital, going over to her house, and then kind of like the thing that the movie is named after and it's about is that Tilda Swinton is like, I'm going to euthanize myself. And wait, no.
And I need someone
Yeah,
to
and I
call
need
the police.
and I need someone to like hang out with me in the room next door. And so Tilda Swinton like rents this beautiful house in the countryside and they go to live out there for
Well, first Julianne Moore is like, oh, we're actually not that close. Couldn't you ask maybe this person or this person or this person? And Tilda Swinton's like, oh, I asked them and they said no.
yes. Yeah, because then there's this subplot about like John Turturro's character who like in the past had a fling with Tilda Swinton, but then had a relationship with Julianne Moore, and like
Yeah, and he's
Tilda
like
Swinton doesn't know
environmental-
that they're like still, mates.
They still hang out.
Yeah.
He's like a facialist environmental studies lecturer or something.
Yes, yeah. He is like he's like a climate doomer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Julianne Moore is an author.
Yes. And Tilda Swinton is a
Former
war journalist.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically
That's how they met.
what the movie is about, and it's our mate's first English language film, and I think people were quite freaked out by that because the dialogue is
Yes.
very weird.
The dialogue is very weird, but it's like it's just it's such a troubling thing to think about. Is that because Pedro's dialogue has always been that weird, but people didn't understand it because it was in Spanish, and like in the translation, it's never going to come across exactly how it is, right?
Yeah, because I think translated dialogue is often flat, and so when it's flat, when you're reading it and it's flat, you just kind of like assume that it's not like that in the original, and that's like kind of part of you. You just like bake that into your experience, that assumption that it's probably different in the original. But in this case, maybe not.
Yeah, but you have to know that. You have to know the dialogue is going to be weird. You can't start watching The Room Next Door and be like, oh, when they're talking funny, I hate it.
I've got to say,
if you're going to feel like that, then don't watch it.
I've got to say, even though I was prepared for that and you told me about that, there was still a point like 15 minutes in where I was like, is this a bad movie?
No, it's a good movie.
No,
you have to come right around again.
It's a good movie. Because
I wish I had an example of the dialogue, but I don't. But it's all basically like, well, I need someone to be there when I euthanize myself. Oh, that's a complicated question. Hang on, I think the movie is starting now.
There are very few women war correspondents. War is a man's thing. You have to sort of become one of the guys, and it was never a problem for me. I've always lived like a man.
And there's like these little bits. I just like love when there's bits. This like added. I love it when there's like throwaway lines where you're like, what the fuck was that about? Like there's a bit where they're staying at the house that Julianne Moore like wants to use a gym.
Yes.
And the receptionist is like, oh, you can only use the gym if you book in with the personal trainer. However, the personal trainer we have is very good. And then when she talks to the personal trainer, he's like, I wish I could hug you, but I can't due to these damn laws.
Yes. I think, because after that 15-minute point where I was like, because at the start, they don't know each other that well. And so it's kind of setting up the relationship, and they're also talking to each other in this extremely like flat, matter-of-fact way. And I was like,
yeah.
Is there more to this than this? And there is, because as the movie progresses,
and there is,
I think having the dialogue like that gives it so much room for like dramatic tension and like acting choices to happen in other ways. Like, I love this kind like there are some scenes where there's this kind of like underlying kind of like churning tension because they're not really good friends. They don't know each other that well, and they're saying these things like, oh, are you sure that it's like me who you want to be staying in the room next door? And they're like, just reading that line, there's not anything there. But the way that it's played, the way that they're sitting, the way that they're like looking or not looking at each other, it's like, Pedro's got the sauce. As does obviously Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton and John Turturro.
I was looking up the name of the book. Is that when Julianne Moore has to speak to the police, and she says to the police officer who's like a normal person, have you read Erotic Vagrancy? Just like all sorts of things like that. And like the plating of food in the movie is like really interesting because they like it's very obvious that the food is only chosen for the colors. So they're always eating like giant bowls of raspberry and like all these carrot sticks and these big like leafy looking like mint julep type things. and a lot, like pretty much every background actor is Spanish.
Yes.
It was like obviously Spanish. And a lot of the settings are also, if you're familiar with Spain, they're also Spanish. Like, in the first scene, I was like, oh, they're in Madrid. And then they're like, it's so funny to see you back in New York City. I was like, oh, okay.
It's, it's
not Madrid.
The first time that one of the side characters has a Spanish accent, you're like, oh, I guess this is one of his mates. And the fifth time it happens, you're like, well, I guess they're shooting in Spain.
I think the most confusing time is when it's like a Tilda Swinton's memory of going to Afghanistan.
Yes.
And you're like, this is Spain, and everyone's Spanish there.
But yeah, it's it's all the one other thing that I found interesting about the film is like how the like classic Pedro Almodovar like color, like bright color stuff has like translated into a time when everything looks much more boring than it did in the 80s.
Yes.
And it's very interesting. It's very well done. Everyone has green kitchens and green and orange kitchens.
And you feel so stupid when you're watching it and you're not wearing bright colours. Actually,
Yeah.
I can give an anecdote about the method in which I watched it. I also saw it at the Lido. I saw it on like a Monday at like 1 p.m. There was only one other person in the cinema and they fell asleep.
Oh.
It was like one of those big women in like with like the highlighted bob and like the big sunglasses and like an open white linen shirt, platform sandals, comes like swooping in and then just snored throughout the whole movie.
Well, they're going to miss out on the crucial themes.
Yeah, I know. Only I saw it. There was no other people.
Whereas there are some films that I feel like maybe you and me are the only people in the world who saw them.
Well, Pedro is actually very famous, so that would
I
be
know.
rigorous.
And I've read reviews. People didn't like it. They thought the dialogue was weird.
I think if you want to get into it, if you want to get into Pedro's English language films, you should watch Strange Way of Life first.
Absolutely, you should.
And then if you hate that, then don't watch The Room Next Door.
Yeah, I feel like because I like a lot of strange, slow films. If you like any of the films that I'm like, most people probably won't like this, but I loved it, then you'll definitely like this.
What's that, though? You could have been
You know, like that Japanese one that no one saw? Oh, this is not going to work.
The ice skating one?
No, Remembering Every Night. Or
that other Japanese one?
or that other honestly, I actually was thinking of Japanese films when I watched this. The cinematography is very Japanese. That like crystalline digital thing that they do so well in Japan at the moment. I actually found this film very moving, and it's kind of like it kind of ends up being about how like we're actually all kind of facing death, and that's the absurdity of life, and you just have to kind of find a way to deal with that, and becoming obsessed with death.
And you're
is
going to be
like-
wearing like a Yves Saint Laurent like neon green suit the whole time.
Yeah. But because we can't get into like film analysis on this movie that no one's seen yet. Go watch the movie.
You don't know that.
Okay.
You don't know that. It came out in January. Maybe everyone saw it.
Well, don't you think that in many ways, Martha, the former war correspondent who has resigned herself to her death, and John Turturro, the like former radical academic who has decided that the world is like spiraling helplessly towards apocalyptic catastrophe, kind of having the same experience?
I like seeing. I was thinking this. Sorry, I was thinking this about Severance. Is that I do, and White Lotus. I do just prefer to watch stuff that's not all about young people.
Well, we're old, Rebecca.
No, I know, but I think it's nice when there's like a big movie or like a big TV show and the people are not all 24 years old.
Yes, absolutely. But just to finish my thought about that,
Okay, sorry.
before people think I'm like, well, just ignore the climate thing. I think the film, like, very much, it doesn't like condemn either of those two positions. It's like, well, this is a way a lot of people are feeling, but we all have to find our way through that somehow. Like, well, yes, this is what's happening, but we just gotta fucking do something. Like, you just have to live. Still, even if we're all gonna die in a big fireball.
Yeah, I think that, I like that presentation of that where he's like, well, what's the point of going on when climate change is going to kill all of us? And then Julianne Moore's like, oh, we have to pay the restaurant.
It's true, we have to pay the restaurant.
Okay, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, when people start, when people become upset and then they start posting that everyone else is sort of like emotionally deformed.
Like, you don't care about this thing as much as I do, so...
Yeah. Or like,
like...
because you are posting about different things, or because you appear to be continuing to live your life.
Yes.
Despite war and economic crisis and like social disparity and stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just like lying down crying all day, that means that you are sort of like evil.
Yeah, look, just because we're recording a film podcast doesn't mean that I'm not quietly working towards the proletariat revolution and the dissolution of
solve
private
climate
property.
change.
That's how we do it. By abolishing private property. Look, I can
putting you at odds with.
I can lay out
style.
I can lay out the 12-point plan. Or read some Kierkegaard. This is all Kierkegaard talks about. Okay, fuck. I can't be talking about Kierkegaard on a popular film podcast. We got to talk about something else now. Rebecca, what have you seen in the films recently?
Oh, well, it says that I should talk about Hey Mickey.
That's it. Mickey, deep breaths, fill your lungs. Imagine there's an unknown virus in the air,
and you're sucking in every single microscopic particle floating around.
All the viruses.
So good?
There really was an unknown virus in the air. Lethal one.
See you tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, the thing that I didn't get to say in my gossip thing was that Ronnie Spector tapped Zendaya to play her in a biopic.
Oh, wow.
Before she died. Apparently, I read that this
interesting.
morning. That's interesting. That's why I wrote Ronnie. It was nothing to do with Zionism.
I was like, which of the two Ronnies is that about? Neither of them. Ronnie Spector, the third Ronnie.
I don't really have that much to say about Mickey 17.
Okay. Is it good?
It was fine.
How many popcorns do you give it?
Out of how many? I don't know, like 17 out of 30.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It was like
thematically appropriate.
Robert Pattinson's performance was like very interesting.
Yes.
There was some stuff. I've said this before. When there's like fighting sequences and stuff, I often just lose track of what's happening. I don't really like action. There was some stuff that I didn't. The film is extremely Korean.
Yes.
But it's like nearly all British actors.
Okay.
With some random Americans in there. I didn't like Mark Ruffalo was like sort of doing a Trump impression the whole time. I didn't really like that. I don't know what Toni Collette's character was, like his wife. I don't know. Yeah, but I think if you're familiar with Korean film or Korea, there's like some moments in there where you're like, oh my god, like bong. This is so weird.
He's bonging it up.
Like the reason why Robert Pattinson and that guy who's in everything, I can't remember his name right now, they have gone on to this space mission to get away from a debt collector because they were going to start up this macaron business.
Sick. Okay.
And they're both wearing these t-shirts that's like, it says something like no more burger, macaron is number one. It has like a burger crossed out.
That's
I was
so
like,
sick.
that is like, this is so Korean.
Yeah.
And then the debt collector's like, I'm gonna break your legs or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And then so they have to run away. That's why they're on the ship. And I think the stuff with this, so every time I can't remember the details of this. he's like a disposable or an expendable or something like that. And every time he dies, so they test things on him. They test like vaccinations and they test like how much pressure he can stand, like being outside the space station and all this sort of stuff. And then every time he dies, they just print off a new one of him. And but every time he like gets printed out again, his personality is slightly different. So that's like the whole thing. And then like there accidentally ends up being 2 of him printed out at the same time, which is illegal.
Yeah.
And then so the rest is all like action folly about that. And the Mark Ruffalo is like sort of a cult leader who's like a former American politician on Earth who's like run away.
Okay.
That's what that movie's about.
Well, look, as a primo sci-fi action enjoyer, I think I will like that if I ever get a time to go to the movies again.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you'd like it or not.
Maybe after my uncle's wedding.
In Canberra.
Okay, what is Bird?
Okay. Bird?
Wait, do we do this one for one or do we...
No, we've never done this one for ones.
We do
yeah. No, the other way around.
We always do
It's
it
your
one
turn
for
now.
one. It's my turn.
Yeah, we always do it one for one. Yeah.
Okay. I saw Babygirl.
If we're gonna do this, we need to set some rules that you and I both agree on.
Did you order this?
Starting with, I tell you what to do and you do it.
And if I don't?
Get on your knees.
No. What?
Get on your knees now.
I'm...
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I didn't end up seeing that.
No. I don't know if you would enjoy it, but I find it difficult to say because it's quite an odd film. So Babygirl is from actor turned director who also wrote and produced this one, Halna Rajan. Bad pronunciation.
What language is that?
She's
Halna
Dutch.
Rajan.
Helena. Helena Rhine. Oh, it'll be Helena Rhine. She's
Okay.
Dutch. Okay. And it's got Nicole Kidman, who is the CEO of basically like Amazon Shipping. They're like a distribution warehouse company. And she has an affair with her like young intern who's played by Harris Dickinson. You know Harris Dickinson?
One of the flavors of the month.
He was in Triangle of Sadness.
Yes.
He's the guy from Triangle of Sadness. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that he was the guy from Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah, he's the like pointy nose model guy. Yeah, so at home she's got a husband, Antonio Banderas, who is a theatre director.
I forgot that the husband was Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, and he's a theatre director directing Hitagaba, the Ibsen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is thematically important. And then she has 2 daughters, and it's like, yeah. So her affair with like Harris Dickinson is like quite odd because it's based solely on like this kind of like not strictly subdom, but like degrading sex stuff. So like,
who's getting degraded?
She is. So she's like standing facing the corner, or she's like eating a treat out of his hand like a dog, or it's like somewhere grubby like a car park. Yeah. So it's not, because it's not like,
Damn, I thought it was the other way round.
No.
Huh.
And so
no wonder people don't like it that much.
Yeah, I've got to say, and we've already talked about the proletariat revolution today, but as a person who kind of feels like the very rich aren't people,
yeah,
and as a lesbian, I think I got kind of a different experience of this film than other people.
Okay.
Because I don't find...
And do you imagine that I would feel similar?
Well, you don't like, I don't know if you'd be into the like gross stuff, but I'm not.
I don't like degradation stuff.
Yeah, but Harris Dickinson as like a grubby fuck boy, it doesn't do anything for me. That's not like sexually titillating to me, and so I think it must read different if you're not.
What's a film that you do find sexually titillating?
Jesus Christ. I don't. Can I come back to you on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because I thought that's not really your sort of thing, but you were making it sound like this isn't your thing, but there are other things.
Well, I love pervert movies.
Yeah, I know you love pervert movies, but I think the way that you enjoy the pervert movies is like asexually.
It's very chaste. Yeah. Look, I'll tell you, I get feelings when I watch Vampiros Lesbos. So all of this build-up makes it sound like I didn't enjoy it, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really cool.
You did enjoy it.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
it's like weird and ambiguous, and I read one review in The Guardian was like, oh, it gets all tied up nicely with a bow at the end, and I was like, I don't think you were paying that much attention to it.
Someone said that to me in writing workshop once, and I never got over it.
God, because I think the key line of the movie is when her husband is talking to her about Hedda Gabler, and he's like, oh, everyone thinks it's about desire, but really it's about suicide. And it's like,
okay,
it feels
spoilers.
Well, that happens very early in the movie. Oh, spoilers for Hedda Gabler?
No, I mean, does Nicole Kidman kill herself?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But I believe,
that would be I would be surprised if you told me that.
But all of the stuff I've read about the film is that it's like this movie about like reclaiming your sexuality, and it's really horny. And like me watching it, I was like, it's a film about wanting to destroy yourself through sex.
Yeah.
Like to achieve oblivion through sex.
That is more what I understood from the marketing. But I've been having a lot of trouble at the moment with people saying that films are sexual.
Yes.
Or like very horny or like very explicitly sexual. And then when you watch them, you're like, this is about priests.
No, this film is it opens with like Nicole Kidman having an orgasm.
Okay. Yeah, you know what I mean though. That recently a lot of people have been like, this is a very horny gay movie, and when you watch it, there's no gay characters and there's no sex.
Yes. No, this is a film with lots of sex in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mickey said, like, people were saying that about Mickey 17, and there's sort of maybe half a sex scene in it.
Yeah. Half. But yeah, I thought Babygirl was really interesting. And I didn't rate it as much as those first two films that we talked about. There were a couple of things that I found a bit annoying. I found the soundtrack quite annoying. The soundtrack reminded me of White Lotus, and I know everyone loves the White Lotus soundtrack, but I find it quite annoying.
Oh no, everyone's turned on it.
Oh, they hate the soundtrack to White Lotus?
Yeah, because they changed the theme song, and then everyone was like, oh, I'm not even going to watch it now.
Okay.
People are very fickle.
And there were also some montages when I really didn't want there to be montages. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. And it's yeah. If you want to read my more Galaxy Brain opinion, I wrote it in one sentence on Letterboxd.
Okay, so you're not going to reveal that.
Well, Raz, if
That's
I say
content.
like it reminded me of like supernatural sexual visitation folk tales, I think that makes me sound mental.
I think that you're overly concerned about trying to sound normal to people who listen to podcasts.
Okay. Well, there's a scene when Harris Dickinson's character says that he feels like he's the cuckoo and he's been laid into a nest where he
that's
like doesn't belong.
Wild.
Yeah, and I was like, why? This is making me think of the traditional folk ballad, The Outlandish Night, when possibly an elf comes and like seduces this woman and then tries to kill her.
I think people listen to podcasts because they want to hear something different.
Well, they should listen to Shirley
Or they
Collins.
want to go to sleep.
They should listen to Shirley Collins' version of The Outlandish Night, and then they should watch Babygirl.
Okay.
And I think that makes sense why stuff happens in a pool. It's all connected. Anyway, your turn.
Okay, so I have to talk about Bird, but I have to look it up because I don't remember the names of...
I'm Bird. Who are you?
It's none of your business. I don't care about your dream.
What do you mean you don't care about my dream?
Okay, so Bird is a movie directed by Andrea Arnold, and it's about a 12-year-old girl called Bailey, and she lives in this sort of hovel.
Okay.
With her dad, who's called Bug, and he's played by Barry Keoghan. And
okay.
And that, you know, it's like one of those sort of like, you know, like a step below council estate in the UK.
Yes, I can
It's
see
like sort
it
of
now.
like sort of anarchist type.
There's like a mattress leaning against the wall, and all the wallpaper's peeling off.
There's all sorts of that, and they don't have like proper rooms. There's like sheets like fencing off the different parts. So it's her. She's got an older brother.
I lived
who
in a
lives
flat
there.
like that.
It's worse than the flat you lived in.
Okay.
And it's like a big building with all sorts of people living in there. So it's her, Barry Keoghan, her older brother, who's Barry Keoghan is his dad as well, but he has a different mum. And then he just like Bug brings in this like woman with her baby and is like, we're getting married. So
okay.
We're gonna get married on Sunday, so Bailey, like, you better sort yourself out and stuff. And she is like, who is this woman? And she's like, the woman's like brought her, who's very young. Has like brought her a jumpsuit to wear for the wedding, and she's like Bailey is very, what do you say about a child these days? She's just tomboyish. And then so she has a fight. I was like, you know what I was going through. I was like, I don't know if you should say that child is non-binary if there's nothing that says it in the movie.
She's a bit kooky with it.
Oh god, she's gender non-conforming. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
And then she gets really upset, has a big fight with Bug, and then goes and shaves her head. So which obviously like upsets everyone. And then she like goes and sleeps. I'm not gonna go through the whole movie, but she goes and sleeps in a field after this big fight. And she wants to hang out with this like gang of guys, young guys, you know, like 14-year-olds who sort of like formed this vigilante gang who are like contacting each other on Signal. And they go and like beat up like abusers and stuff.
Oh my god!
And she like wants to be part of that.
This is like ripped from the headlines UK shit. This is like adolescence.
She falls asleep in a field.
Okay.
And then when she wakes up, who's there but Franz Rogowski? Our mate.
Your mate.
Aw, okay.
Our mate.
Our mate, Franz Rogowski's there, and he's like, hello. I'm wondering if you could help me find the way to somewhere. She's like, what the fuck, man? And starts like filming him. He's wearing a skirt. And then he's like, oh, you are filming me? And then he like does a dance.
Hell yeah.
And then it turns out that like, and this is like, I didn't know, and according to the Letterboxd reviews, the other people didn't know either, that it verges into magic realism.
Okay.
So it's very strongly social realism, and then it's not. He wants to find his family, who used to live in the estate near where Bailey lives. But we don't know what happened to him, why he's German. whatever. And then she like takes him to the apartment block, and he just like, and then the people they're like, oh no, wrong address, those people don't live here anymore. And then he just stands on the roof, and she can like see him from where her room, standing on the roof like all day and all night. And then like the main thing is that she has like very bad problems. She lives with Bug, and so the whole thing is he's planning his wedding, and he's like angry at Bailey for not being supportive and stuff. And then she goes to visit her mum, and she has all these like younger siblings, and her mum has this like very, very abusive boyfriend. And so she like wants to get the vigilante gang to get him.
Oh my god.
And she wants to help Franz Rogowski find his family. And so they like go on this trip together and stuff. But yeah, like, okay, spoiler noise.
Oh. Do you have any requests for what it should be in this one?
No, dealer's choice.
Okay.
It turns out that Franz Rogowski is a giant bird. That's why he stands on the roof all day.
Because he's a bird. Okay,
he's a bird, and so he like the abusive
no wonder he
boyfriend
wears a
starts
skirt,
like,
innit? That's for birds.
Yeah, he starts like,
am I right,
fucking hell. The abusive boyfriend comes, and the vigilante gang like hadn't found him. He was out when they came round or whatever.
Yeah,
and so then the abusive boyfriend is still there, and he starts like trying to like beat up the mum, and like they hide the younger kids away, and they all sleep in this like bunk bed together and stuff. And then Franz Rogowski comes and like turns into like a giant eagle and like destroys him and then takes him away.
Hell yeah!
And it turns out something like has gone. It seems like his mum killed herself in the moors.
Oh, popular place for it.
And then so he does actually manage to find his dad, who like lives in this sort of seaside town, and then he like answers the door. And he's like just a typical like working class British guy in like a football shirt with heaps of tattoos, and he's like, "Mate, I've never heard of you. No one round here by that name."
Aww.
All that sort of stuff. And then his wife is like, "Who's at the door? Why won't they leave us alone?" and then he comes out later and he's like, "No, I did know your mother. But she died. And I don't really want to deal with you and stuff." But he does like give him some information. And then Bird is like upset. And then he's like, "Well, I'm going to move on now." And then he like, the Bird scene happens. And then Bailey does go to the wedding. And then like Bird comes to say goodbye. And then it turns out Bailey like has the bird eyes too.
Ah.
So she's going to turn into a bird. Okay, that's the end of that. Like, it was one of those movies where you like, you have like fairly low to average expectations, and then you're like, all right. So we're doing this.
All right. Would you recommend Bird to our listeners?
I think it's like interesting to watch, but I don't think it's like a great movie.
Okay.
It's weird. And the other thing is, and you know what Barry Keoghan is like known for?
Sabrina Carpenter's boyfriend.
Physically.
Being a little man.
No.
Beautiful blue eyes.
No.
What is he known for physically?
Well, there's many Sabrina Carpenter songs about it, and everyone saw it in Saltburn.
Oh.
And it was like very distracting in this movie that they did not find any pants that fit him. Just like every scene he was in, he was like practicing this like Blur karaoke song for the wedding.
Yeah.
And like every scene where he was just like, oh, and he has this toad. He has like a drugs toad that he's trying to make money off. Like charging people for a lick of the drugs toad and stuff. And every time he's like spends a lot of time dancing around with a projector on, like practicing the song for the wedding. And it's just like, you're just like, oh, like we shouldn't have made his body the focus of every scene due to these costuming choices. And there's like the other subplot is that he there's like a situation with the brother like gets a girl pregnant who's like 14 or something. And then he wants her to keep the baby, but her parents don't let her, and he wants to run away to Scotland, and then Bailey ends up telling Bug, and then her and Bug go and find him at the train station, and then Bug's like, "It's gonna be all right. Like, you don't want to be a young dad. It sucks." And they were like, "Bug, you've changed so much," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a dad now," and then he like sings like a stereophonic song or something.
Oh. Oh, beautiful call there from Big Balls. All right, Raz, do you want to hear about Queer?
A wise old queen who taught me that I had a duty to live, to conquer hate with knowledge and sincerity and love.
The difficulty is to convince someone else he is really part of you.
A little bit, but I do want to see it.
Okay.
This next week when it comes out.
I can't believe it's still not out. Queer is directed by Luca Guadagnino. It's based on a William S. Burroughs novella. It's a short.
That's important distinction here.
Well, you wouldn't know it was a novella by the length of the film.
Okay.
That's just a joke. I'm sorry. Basically,
I know there's a joke.
In 1950s Mexico, Daniel Craig is a pathetic, junkie homosexual. And so he's kind of like lurking around being grubby and pathetic. Mm-hmm. And he falls in love with this guy who's like, he just got out of the army, or he's like on leave from the army. He's like a young GI, played by Drew Starkey. So he falls in love with him and then convinces him to go on this like trip with him to find a drug that makes you telepathic.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. So I think Daniel Craig is incredible in this movie. Mm-hmm. I think Jason Schwartzman, who's another grubby, pathetic gay guy, American who's living in Mexico City, is really, really good in this. Drew Starkey's pretty good as well. And I love the stuff in... But they're
How about from now on we just list every actor in a film and see if they're any good in it or not?
Well, I was just thinking like their performances are really cool, and then I was like, I guess he's fine. He's like he's not bad, but they're like doing it. And like all the stuff in Mexico City I thought was so cool. It's like there's lots of to make it the 50s, there's lots of like a lot of the establishing shots are of miniatures. And there's lots of like funky lighting, and the set dressing is really like on the nose in quite a fun way to me. Like people are always reading books like Under the Volcano or like Season in Hell, like very like thematically appropriate books everyone's reading. And then I didn't really like so you know the thing with Luca Guadagnino, right?
Yeah.
Is that he does really good kind of like juicy dramatic directing that's really a lot of fun. You know that about him? He does that.
Yep.
And you know that he also does kooky crazy bullshit.
Yeah, and you never know which one you're going to get.
Yes, I don't care for his kooky crazy bullshit most of the time. I liked being a tennis ball in challenges mostly, but
Yeah, like I think there's a lot to be said about the Tilda Swinton stuff in Suspiria.
I hated Suspiria. Suspiria to me was all kooky crazy bullshit, and I didn't care for it.
You know, when I saw Suspiria, I didn't know it was the same director as Call Me By Your Name. I didn't find that out for years.
Bananas situation.
And I hate Bones and All.
Yeah. And so there are some things like that in this, and I just found them kind of naff. So this one is not spoiler. I'll do a not spoilery one. There's a bit where he's in like a cinema or something or a theater with the young GI, and it's like a ghostly, like, you know, see-through overlay of him puts his arm around the guy, and I was like, oh, this is dumb. Like, I don't care about this. And then and so the bits of this movie that I liked, I really, really liked. And the bits of this movie that I didn't like, your mileage may vary. I think probably a lot of people won't feel as annoyed by it as me. But I think it's like, to me, it's like 2/3 of a really good movie. And then 1/3 of a movie that I didn't hate it, but it was like, fine.
People hate all sorts of stuff, though.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't make me as annoyed as like the end of Love Lies Bleeding or anything like that.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. I was thinking, like, I was walking on the street and I was thinking, am I a bad person because I didn't like Love Lies Bleeding?
Yes, and so am I. It's the cinema bad boys. And the other thing that he does is, like, the movie has like lots of anachronistic pop music needle drops, which I also there was like maybe one that I thought was cool, and then otherwise it was like, yeah, I didn't need Nirvana here. I think it's just distracting to me.
Okay.
So I thought it was I think it's worth a watch. And I loved all the
weird that it's coming out like 6 months later.
I know, it's crazy, but I feel like we don't get enough like grubby queer homo, like
we don't get enough homo stuff at all.
Homo, like sweaty, pathetic homo movies. Like
we just get fake homo stuff, like Mickey 17. Oh, there's 2 of them, and then one of them is like, oh, we could do a threesome, and the other one's like, no, I don't want to, and everyone's like, oh, it's a gay movie.
Yeah. Well, it was John Waters' second favorite film last year. So,
what was his first?
What was his first?
It was something weird, right?
I know that Amelia Perez is on the list.
Trap?
It's Love Lies Bleeding, number 1.
Oh, okay. So
number 4. Number 4 was Hard Truths.
Everyone's come around to Trap. Is that what's called?
Oh, Trap. Number 9 was Babygirl.
The one that you gave me like a full shot for shot.
Oh, the one that I was sending you videos of when I was sick. Trap. Oh, people love Trap. Not me. I think it's bad.
And that's Cinema Bing Bong.
All right. You got one more, Raz.
Yeah, I saw the last Showgirl on Friday.
I mean, Las Vegas used to treat us like movie stars. Costumes, sets. We were ambassadors for style and grace. The Las Vegas Showgirl. The iconic American showgirl.
This time there was no one else there. It's
Do you like that when you're like the only person in the cinema? Do you find it luxurious, or do you prefer to be, you know?
I prefer there to be some people.
Okay.
But no, I don't like it when it's full.
Did I talk on the podcast about the screening of Paddington 3 I went to with dogs?
I think you alluded to it.
Okay.
And then we're like, I'll tell you about it, and then you didn't.
I don't like going to the movies when there's
with
also
dogs.
50 dogs there. Especially when there's a creature on screen that they recognize to be some kind of dog creature and they bark at it.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. I think ideally I'd like to go to a movie and there's like 20 other people there.
Okay.
As long as the people aren't sort of like evil of heart. Which
you never know, especially at the Bridgeway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Or, you know, I also have some disdain for audiences at the Hollywood.
Oh.
I find them performative.
When I saw Starship Troopers there was a whole team wearing like Starship Troopers t-shirts.
See, that's fine.
I thought that was lit, to be honest. I thought that was sick.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Just some films you see there, it just feels like people are there for the aesthetic rather than because they're interested in the film. Like Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was lost in a reverie thinking about when I saw Babylon there. The audience was not happy. We love the Hollywood, though. Shout out. I love the Hollywood anyway. Shout out.
I think the seats are too. I like the idea of it, but the seats are very uncomfortable.
Was the last Showgirl good?
No, the last Showgirl is bad.
That's a shame. I like Pam.
Yeah, but like I said in my Letterboxd review, is that it's very, very obviously written by rich people.
Yes.
Gia Coppola.
And as we've established on the movie, I hate rich people.
We've established on the movie.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm calling it now for short.
When I was at uni, someone accidentally said my film instead of my manuscript, and I'm pretty sure they still feel embarrassed about it now.
I'm beyond embarrassment now, so.
Oh man, what was I saying? Okay, sorry, it's really hot. It's like Showgirls, but set in the present, but also with none of the exciting stuff of Showgirls. The premise is Pamela Anderson is one of the dancers, not the lead dancer, just one of the dancers in the show called La Razzle Dazzle.
Okay, good name.
And it's the last like Showgirl burlesque type traditional show on the Vegas Strip, and it's shutting down because they're gonna do like a horny circus instead.
That sounds mean though. Okay.
I mean, that sounds mean, but she's like really. But then Pamela Anderson has been working there since the 80s.
Oh, okay.
And so she doesn't know what to do, and all the younger ones are like, "Well, I'm going to audition for the horny circus." And then Pamela Anderson is like, for some reason, really prudish.
Pamela Anderson, the Showgirl,
is a massive prude, and so she does all these monologues. Because the problem, and everyone on Letterboxd agreed, the problem is the script is so bad. So she'll just do these monologues like, "No, I'm not going to audition for that rude, naked show. What we do is different. It's inspired by the Parisians."
Oh my god.
And then she like upsets Kenan Shipka and Brenda Song. Who are just, I think Kenan Shipka is like, she's the youngest one, and she's like, I think it's sort of implied that she's maybe left the Mormon community.
Okay.
To be a showgirl. And Brenda Song is like, yeah, well, I'm just fucking doing whatever, man. Like, this is it. Whereas like Pamela Anderson takes it like way too seriously, and she like spends all night like, and she's got this like cinema room in her house for some reason, even though she's really poor. And she watches like these sort of Siegfried Follies sort of movies and like does the dances along with them, and sort of like wishes that she was a ballet dancer maybe.
Raz, is this one of those movies where it's like, I wrote about a different art form as a metaphor for my art?
I think it's one of those movies where they're like, let's put a lens on the underbelly.
Oh, okay.
But let's not go into it too much.
Okay. Are Showgirls the underbelly?
No, okay, maybe that's not quite right. But it's more like,
I mean, I guess they are in Showgirls.
It's like, you've heard about Honora. What if she was 52? That's basically the movie.
Okay.
And then she's like, and then it's sort of like revealed that she has this daughter who, and then turns out her daughter, who's played by Billie Lourd, and she's supposed to be 22, but Billie Lourd is 32. She doesn't look 22 at all. And then she's like, it turns out that she's gone to live with this other family because she like hated Pamela Anderson for being a dancer.
Okay.
And she was like, you left me in that parking lot with my Game Boy every night and stuff. And she like hates her for it, even though she's like an adult now and she is like studying photography.
She's having a Jared Platt situation. How could you leave your kids?
I found that very weird as someone who does have a single mother and was often left in the car with my Game Boy. And like everyone else I know who has a single mother who like things like that happen to, you never resent your mum for that.
I was left in the car with my Game Boy a lot, and I have not a single mother, and I have 3 older siblings.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't know.
I think sometimes people are just busy, you know?
Sometimes people are busy, but I think especially if you have a single mum who has, like, there's no other option.
Yeah, absolutely.
You, and just never like, and I hate you for making me sit in the car.
Maybe you should have adopted me out or put me in the foster system. Mum, why didn't you think of that, idiot? So you're not...
So that's what Billie Lourd is like. And then it turns out that, spoiler, I guess, that her dad is like one of the other main characters.
Wow.
But I sort of just put that in and it like sucks. And then like really sadly, like the best acting in the movie comes from fucking Jamie Lee Curtis.
She is, you know, despite C above in the news section for she's got I think some odious views. She's a good actress.
Yeah, she does some very good acting. She is so she used to be on the show, but she retired to be a cocktailer.
Okay.
Which are the people who like hand out the cocktails in the casinos. And so she has to wear, and then obviously they don't give her the proper shifts and they don't give her like good tips and stuff because she's old. But there's like another woman who does it who's 80. And then she like has money problems, so Pamela Anderson has to like take her in and stuff. But it does some like terrible character work where like Pamela Anderson is like seen to be like a bad mother, and then she like also doesn't help out the younger girls in the show, and then she's sort of delusional about how good she is at dancing. And then Jason Schwartzman's in there. I didn't even recognize him. Only when the credits came up. And it has montages of her just sort of like standing around in Vegas. A lot of people said that it's like if Gia Coppola for some reason decided to direct a worse Sean Baker film.
Okay. I probably will still watch this because I want to see what Pam's up to.
Yeah, it has some nice stuff, but I think the script in particular like really lets it down. And she's like does this monologue about lemons where she's like, the price of lemons is out of control. And lemons, they're not even really food, they're a garnish. How are we supposed to live like this? Like that sort of thing just happens all the time. And you're like, is this how you think poor people live? Obsessed with lemons. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Oh, I've got a Jamie Lee Curtis update.
No. She does this like terrible dance in the middle of the movie too, by herself in the middle of the casino on this little stage to Total Eclipse of the Heart.
My update is that it's increasingly unclear what she believes about anything. So.
Okay.
So
I think that's like a difficult thing with celebrity is that they don't. I think people expect celebrities to have coherent opinions and they just don't.
No, you know
they're not people that are in public due to their soundness of mind or whatever. Yeah,
and look, I think I can't start talking about philosophy again. Okay, that's all our That's all our movies, isn't it?
That's all our movies.
That's all our movies. I think we managed to watch a decent amount of movies considering the
We tried really hard.
I also watched the Amityville Horror, and I got to say, it's so bad. because to me, I was like, it's kind of the last like classic 70s horror that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
So
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, so I was like, why have I never watched this? I watched all the, I watched the bloody The Exorcist, The Omen, all the ones. I better see the Amityville Horror. Sucks. So boring. Terrible movie. Nothing.
There's a remake, right?
There is a remake. And then there's a series. And it's based on a true story. Boring, tedious film about nothing. Although there is a bit where the guy falls into like a black bubbling pit of hellish ooze, and that bit's good.
Okay.
We've talked about how it's been a weird month for movies. What's coming out soon?
What's coming out? Well, Queer is coming out.
Queer's coming
Thursday. I'll just have a quick look. I want to catch the bus in half an hour, so. Because I got a text saying that it's okay to be a millennial.
Oh.
I wanted to, for the context with the listeners, I wanted to go to an event, but I know that everyone there is, for whatever reason, going to be really young. But it's okay to be a millennial. Oh, God, 10th April, this is all bullshit. No, we won't be watching any of this. The Chosen, Last Supper, The Amateur. So Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne. Okay. 10th April, King of Kings. Oh, that's just obviously an Easter movie. Andre Rieu, The Dream Continues. Fuck.
Beautiful.
Maybe it's going to be the last podcast. There's no more movies coming out.
Hold up. Hundreds of Beavers is finally getting an Australian release next
yeah, I did
Friday.
hear that. Drop, 17th April. I think that trailer at the moment is the funniest trailer. Have you seen it? I seen it too, but I don't think you watched it. It's the one where Megan Fahey from The White Lotus goes on a date and then she like gets like airdropped this thing being like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yes, no, I did watch that. That looks terrible.
20. Yeah, we're already out to the end. There's no movies are coming out next month. 24th of April. Small Things Like These with Emily Watson and Cillian Murphy, based on the book of the same name.
I actually really want to see Black Bag that we kind of very briefly mentioned. I think that it's out.
Oh yeah, I said it was. People are talking about it. People are letterboxing about it.
Apparently it's good. And we love Steven Soderbergh. Do we?
Do we?
Do we? Well, we'll find out shortly.
Okay. Flat Girls. I don't know what that is. Is that?
Wait, how about this? And we love Cate Blanchett.
Oh, we love Cate Blanchett. Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I still am Eileen Gray. I love Triangle of Jealousy in the Parisian art scene of the 1930s. It's brought to life in this docufiction. Still, I'm in May now. There's nothing that I've heard of. I don't like. What's his name? What's that guy I don't like? Bon Yang.
Oh, yes. What's he doing?
He's going to be in The Wedding Banquet on the 8th of May.
Okay.
A gay man makes a deal with his lesbian friend, a green card marriage for him in exchange for in vitro fertilization for her. Plans evolve as Min's grandmother surprises them with a Korean wedding banquet.
Okay.
Hopefully they're going to announce something else, because this is all...
New Zealand horror film The Rule of Jenny Penn, starring Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow, is out. I've heard good things about that.
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that. Lilo and Stitch, people are angry about that because of the...
we've got to wait till June 12th to see Materialists. So
skin colours of actors. Yeah, I think we will be talking about Materialists on June 12th. Oh, I want to see Megan 2.0. That's on the 26th of June. Okay, yeah, sorry. It's not looking good for April.
It doesn't matter, because next month we're going to be doing some kind of special, undecided.
I don't know when.
I think we're going to have to maybe record it next week.
Okay.
Or the week after. So,
yeah.
Because I'm getting married. And then once I'm married,
and
the world, it'll be like in a Shakespeare play when the rightful king gets restored, everything will be nice again. And like,
oh my God.
My oven will be fixed.
Oh, you mean in your life, not in the world?
No, and good movies will start coming out again.
I was like, I don't know how my life is going to improve by Amelia having a wedding ceremony.
You'll feel joy. What do you mean, how is your life going to improve?
No, I mean, like, it's not going to fix any appliances, and I don't have any broken appliances, but...
Oh, fucking lucky you.
I will feel joy, but I don't think it's going to change my life.
Okay. All right.
Imagine that though, like, well, my life will change when my friend got married.
I think that would be beautiful.
My best friend's wedding. 2. My best friend's wedding is a totally different plot.
Just before we get to the outro, Raz. I would just like to say Nicole Kidman is like one of the best actors that we have at the moment.
Yeah.
She's so good. She's so good. I've just been thinking about it all day. This has been Cinema Bing Bong. It would mean a lot to us if you would rate and review us on like Apple Podcasts or whatever. That would be really cool. We don't advertise anywhere, so... Oh, you're interjecting into the outro.
Sorry. What we really need people to do is do a post.
Do a post. Yeah. Fuck the reviews. Do a post. Tell your friends. Talk to your mum or your cool cousin and be like, hey, I listened to this podcast where they mostly talk about movies and I think it's really cool and I think you should listen to it. And that's the only... Every time we get a new listener to the pod, I know that one of you's done that. And I cry a small tear of joy and it turns into a little jewel, turns into a crystal, and then I release it into the sea and it bejewels the back of a kind of a magnificent spiritual turtle.
And when the numbers go down, Amelia's like, I don't care, my oven's broken.
When the numbers go down, I kill the turtle. The turtle dies.
You kill the red turtle, the turtle from Conclave.
Yes, I'd kill the turtle from Conclave. Yeah, tell a friend. You can follow us at Cinema Bing Bong on Instagram or Blue Sky.
But we both hate Blue Sky.
We both hate Blue Sky. I'm Amelia. This is Rebecca. Rebecca? Hello.
That's when you say the question.
No, you say, I'm Rebecca.
I've never said that.
Oh, okay. Well, you've said something anyway now, so it's fine. Okay. So we were just talking a minute ago about beloved director Steven Soderbergh.
Mm.
You know, the man behind Erin Brockovich.
Oh, okay. I didn't have time to look it up.
Ocean's 11. He did Behind the Candelabra, which I haven't seen, but I respect him for.
Okay.
So he has a cancelled project from like 2008, 9, 10, where he was going to direct a musical.
Oh, that late. Okay.
A musical about the life of Cleopatra, starring the Welsh wonder Catherine Zeta-Jones. And when I say a musical, it was going to be set to the music of Guided by Voices.
Which is very unexpected.
Yeah, so I was thinking, if you were going to make a movie musical set to the music of Guided by Voices, which historical figure are you choosing? And who's the star? Question.
I think like Galileo.
Okay, and who's playing Galileo?
That's difficult.
He's locked up by the church. He's singing Gold Star for Robot Boy because he made a robot boy because he's a genius scientist.
Maybe
he's trying to do his wooden ball experiments, but all the buzzards and dreadful crows are coming to attack him. They're getting in the way.
Maybe we get Stanley Tucci.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, right? And we should have, I think as a supporting character, we're going to have Pedro Pascal.
Is he evil supporting character or good supporting character?
He's a good supporting character.
Okay, so he's like his little assistant man or something.
Yeah,
or
and
he's
then
like
we're
a
gonna
fellow
have
scientist.
He's a fellow scientist, and we're gonna do some local unknowns. It's gonna be their big break. Do you have an answer for this?
I just can't think of anyone except for Nicole Kidman.
Oh, you want Nicole Kidman to play a historical figure?
I want Nicole Kidman to play a Oh, it could be about Nicole Kidman. No. Oh my god.
By who?
Oh my god. It's going to be about the New Zealand TV cooking hero, Alison Holst.
Played by Nicole Kidman.
Played by Nicole Kidman. Set to the music of Guided by Voices.
I feel like you were so mean to me that time that I wanted you to watch 5:30 with Jude. And then as soon as you're paid to watch Alison Holst and Joe Seager, you're all about it.
I think she should be on Money. I love Alison Holst.
She's not even on the bloody sausage rolls anymore.
She's not on anything, and we need to bring her
She's
back.
just orange.
So Nicole Kidman is Alison Holst. What's the name of that woman from Misery?
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates is Joe Seager.
Yes.
Yes. And the guys who do the male gaze New Zealand podcast can play Hudson and Halls.
Well, one of them already did.
One of them already did, so it's easy.
What about the other guy who already did?
I don't remember who it is, so I can't say.
Okay.
And they're out there and they're singing Game of Pricks. Game of Pricks is about TVNZ. And yeah, My Valuable Hunting Knife is about white baiting. It all works. Oh, do you know what you need for your Galileo one?
What?
I Am a Scientist.
Oh, of course. That's what's the move. That's going to be the title. It's going to have a really dramatic scene with the tractor rope chain.
Oh my god! The title of my one is going to be Hot Freaks.
And what's the one that what's my favorite one? What's my favorite song by
Gold Star for Robot Boy.
No, it's a different one.
Oh.
But I don't like it because it sounds as Last Man Well Known to Kingpin is my favorite.
That's bloody solo. That's bloody. You're going off.
Yeah, I know. It's the solo stuff. I'm fired from the development of the 2 Guided by Voices movies. I Am a Scientist and Hot Freaks. We can't call that Hot Freaks a movie about New Zealand cooking shows from the 80s.
Okay. What about...
Okay, we have to do that, and then the bus is coming in like 19 minutes, so that's it. That's it after that.
It's called Glad Girls. All right, podcast over.
Oh, no, it's called Awful Bliss.
Fuck yes, Awful Bliss. Coming to a cinema near you. Please, New Zealand, whoever funds New Zealand films, fund us. We're open.